podcast. Start recording. Da. Da. I can
Wow.
pivot it. Look at it. That's a little bit of a thing. Now. What? I think so. I'm about to find out.
Basketball net?
It's a little low. Okay.
It's going to Nana's after I go back to work, but he gets to play with it here this week.
Okay.
It came with 2 balls.
It's getting dark, isn't it?
Yes, it's gotten dark.
Darkness falls across the land. Midnight horror is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood.
I'm glad you know that, because I sure don't know it. That's the beginning of Thriller, yes?
Well, the talky bit in the middle at...
Oh, is it in the middle?
It's
I
in
thought
the
that was the
break.
very beginning. And was that Vincent Price got to do that?
Yes. Vincent Price. I only found out, Rebecca started showing me this show that he used to be on in the 80s. A Canadian kids show called... I can't remember what it's called, but Vincent Price had a little segment in it every week. She used to watch it, I think, on Saturday mornings. It was called somebody's scary vampire kiddie program thing.
Oh,
that
Elvira?
No, not Elvira. It might come to me. It probably will.
What is this one? The Small Batch series? No, that's the unnamed one. The Rise Up. Wait. The Rise Up.
Yeah, the Rise Up and the
The Eyes Up.
Light Pale Ale. What was that show called? Good grief!
From
It's on
at
Roku now. A couple of episodes.
Horton Ridge Malt and Grain Company. Lovely.
You appear to have a child. Where did he come from? Hello.
Well, I could explain the entire thing,
Ah,
but that,
birds and bees and all that.
yeah, it almost seems kind of inappropriate at this point.
Yeah.
There's Sean Wine out there. Now I'll share this, and this will come over to sharing now, and then I'll also share it to the interesting the group of the Maritime Craft Beer and the posting, and I don't even care, but it has been posted and it has been shared, and we are alive, and there are things happening.
Did you just catch your fingers in the chair?
No, I was just taking a big deep breath
Oh.
because you know me, I talk way too much. That's kind of the thing, and it is already hooray! The sunset.
It's dark already.
Good background noise.
It is. It's delightful. It's like one of the other ones I was editing before.
It's chirping.
Oh, that's
Lots
an
of
eye rock.
chirping.
We're going bad.
Oh no! Does he have his MILK?
It's ready.
Okay.
I need to brush his teeth now, so you might hear some screaming in the back.
Oh, poor guy.
Good night, Wesley.
Okay, night.
Wow. That's how that's done.
He sort of goes. He likes to go limp. And with that unceremonious attempt, I am Ross. Joining me is Ian on the actual deck, and live from the deck as we've used to do. We are attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry. Someone is also honking at us. The neighbors. The neighbors have a problem.
It's just like old times.
It is. It's this, and now we need farm tractors. The baby has already screamed and squawked at us. We are late, and it's my fault because I did a thing today. I was in the city, and then I only just got back about 20 minutes
About 20 minutes
ago.
ago.
Ian has been patiently waiting for me to arrive back so that we can try some of these. And okay. So the plan was I was going to surprise you with these small batch bourbon aged cask whiskey delicious because I only had like a small bottle of it, so I thought, oh, I'll get him a little sip and that will be delicious, and then you'll have to drive home. And it was a terrible idea because they're like barley wine. They're like
Yeah.
11% or something.
Are
like
they?
That. So they're
Damn.
so.
Okay.
We'll make that work another time when
Yeah.
we make. There were so many plans for tonight. Tonight we were gonna make a beer. That
Yeah.
was the other.
Yeah, I know.
Serves me right for trying to meet celebrities
Oh,
at the airport.
yeah.
That's as much as I can probably go into. I think I actually signed something today that said I wouldn't even say that much, but that's as much as we've got. So,
Gosh.
we've got two light ones because we get to drink light ones because Ian is trying to drive home afterwards, and we have the unnamed light one from Sea Level of their small batch series. I think this was from maybe the spring, and the organic Rise Up Pale Ale.
They might be only light ones for about another 10 minutes the way. It might be very
Also
dark
true.
ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to read this, but it's a 4.5. So a 4.0 and a 4.5. So we'll begin with the Sea Level. I've got the wrong glass and everything for it.
Sea level. Sea level.
But here's the best part about the Sea Level one. It doesn't say anything about it. It just says small batch series. Oh wait, no. Oh, crafted with passion and care in our small artisanal brew house, these small batches allow each member of our Sea Level family to create and explore new styles. That leaves me with more questions than answers, because now I want to know which staff member came up with the unnamed light one.
They've literally taken a Sharpie pen and penned it over the template they've got there. It looks like it looks like they might have had just a whole batch of small batch series labels that they've gone and stuck on their cans and left the naming bit at the bottom so that they could pen in what they wanted to put in it. Because
I think you're quite right. Yes,
Yeah.
it is sliding off.
it is sliding up. I thought when I picked it up earlier on, I could have sworn it said Lou Unnamed, and I thought, is that what they're calling this one? But slowly, as I scratched it, it changed. The writing was all disappearing. So I'm pretty sure they're using a generic label for their cans.
So again, with the more questions than answers,
Yep.
how small does a small batch need to be in order to commit to handwriting unnamed unnamed light one on that many cans?
That is a big question. I feel that if you ever had Sea Level on the show, you could probably ask them that question. No point in asking me. I don't have a clue.
I have
Shoot, that was lively. Oh my god. What just happened? Okay. All right. Calm down.
mine behaved.
Jesus, this ice cream. What's going on?
Full crack. I think we need to.
What on earth?
Boy, it wants out of that can.
Ah!
Maybe I'll move the microphone. This is an adventure. There we go.
It's one of those, those toys that you got as a kid that, unsurprisingly, they don't sell anymore. That they're little black pellets, and you would light the pellet, and very quickly it turned from a pellet into a long black snake. Do you ever have those?
I didn't. Have
you heard of them?
I've heard of them.
Right.
Yes, and are they just called snakes? No, they're
Probably.
they're called something, and I forget what.
Well, that was all coming out a bit like that. You saw it. You witnessed that.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
foaming and expanding.
Why don't they let children play with fire anymore, like we used to in the 70s and 80s? That's not fair.
Do you know what? We had
all kinds of fun.
we had some friends over, and the youngest member of the family was I was making them a non-alcoholic drink, as I am wont to do. You make them a nice little swirly thing with the grenadine and the orange juice
Yes.
and the Sprite, and I showed them the trick of when you've got a candle and there's the melted wax along the top, and you just dip in your fingernails, and then you have like little clickety-clackety solid wax
Yep.
fingertips.
I'm with you.
So I think that's fine because you're not technically playing with fire. You're playing with melted wax,
Which
which
is
is
so much fun.
nearly as dangerous, but I think that hits.
But fire burns. I've noticed that, by the way.
Yeah.
In fact, there's one just lit over there in your garden.
I smell that as well.
Yeah.
The neighbor's having a bonfire, so
Yeah.
well done.
Yep. No, it's the fire that hurts you, not the wax.
Yes.
The wax you can use for
Well,
your enjoyment.
You could probably burn yourself with hot wax. In fact, I'm sure it's possible,
Yeah, like I said, you can have lots of fun with hot wax. Let's not get into that.
but not the burn. Why? I don't think the burning is the stop and start of the having fun.
Can you smell?
I think this smells better than I was expecting it to smell.
Well,
Because where it says it's a light one at 4.0%, and it's an unnamed, and it's just a light batch thing. So it's obviously not hoppy. It smells more like a lager. It's
a pale ale to me.
Yeah, it's a pale ale / lager thing. So that's
yours looks different from mine, but of course yours doesn't have. Yours didn't have that crazy pour that
No,
mine did,
maybe
because mine
it's-
is completely opaque.
is it the cloudiness perhaps of the fizz?
I'm thinking
mine-
the yeast has gone quite mad in
dear.
mine, but no, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But it looks like a completely different pour than yours.
I
If
got
you,
them at the same time.
have I poured the wrong can?
I thought no, it's yeah. I put mine to the back. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So, sea level, unnamed,
Hmm.
new unnamed light one.
Yeah. Well, like you say, they did actually just pen this on, so maybe they went, "Oh, damn! I put that on the wrong." Doesn't matter. They will never notice the difference.
Fizzy
Yeah.
black pellet
snake.
caterpillar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Fizzy
yes,
black snake.
Yeah. Well, it looks
was what they
extremely
should've
different.
done,
I kind of feel that I should take a swig of yours, and I should return that compliment, just because I'm not sure whether this is the same. It looks so different.
I
Ross.
think it is. I think
Alright.
it's.
All right.
We have not done the proper in-person
Oh, no, we
clink
haven't.
for. Oh, it's been years. Oh my
It
goodness.
has. You didn't have a kid. Well, you did from like 15 years ago, but
true. Yep.
you didn't have one of them.
There. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye bye. I think I just said cheers. Bye bye. Like I was off.
You did.
I
Yep,
did.
that was-
I didn't mean to say that.
Your.
My goodness, that is very, very, very summery. Fruity.
It is a little
rye-ish.
fruity, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's.
Full of flavour, surprisingly. 4%, did you say?
More flavor than I was expecting, but I
Yep.
would like something a little bit more full-bodied. But when you say it's a 4% and a light one,
Yeah.
for a light beer,
That's really nice. It's
that's
got
very
full
nice.
of flavour.
That's very good. Do you know? And I think I was in Sea Level up in Sheffield Mills about a week and a half ago, and I think the cans were still in there. I think they still had
Yeah.
this one on, or it was a different small batch thing. I'm not.
There's no bite to it. There's no kick to it at all. It's very, very smooth, easy to drink.
wondered about
plenty of flavour.
I wondered about the hop factor, but no, it's just that's smooth, very golden.
No, it doesn't
that's
have.
nicely
It doesn't
tasty.
have the hoppiness of an IPA for sure.
Well, that's-
definitely a very a lighter pale ale, which is what it's calling itself. isn't
Now,
it?
we talked to Steve Crane about this a few weeks ago, did we not? Where they had the IPA that they're going to bring out with Brig and Bark, and also the Session. So there's this Session IPA thing.
yeah.
That, when I was down at the Discovery Center on the Science of Beer, everyone had try our Session IPA. It's a 4.3 IPA, and I went because I feel like so there's. And what did Steve say? In order to increase the hop in a beer, to double it, you have to double the malt as well. And so a double IPA gets you twice,
Yes.
gets you a higher alcohol
Then it
percentage.
remains balanced. Then
But the
otherwise,
malt increases
Yep.
with it, so you
Yep.
get this delicious malty thing.
and strength.
So then what happens if you have a light IPA? You take out some of that
Okay.
strength. So to take out the strength, you have to take out the malt. So what if it's a maltless IPA? And I think I tried one or two of the Session IPAs, and I was not a fan.
Typically, the IPAs we are trying, and most of them are they're in the 5 region, are they not? They're all around five and a half.
Sometimes upwards of that, but they wander. Even just a single IPA does wander into a 6. It can get there, but a 5,
Right.
7, I would say higher than 5.0. Not often just a 5.0.
High Y 5.0.
High Y, wifey,
Higher than
hyphy,
5.0.
Hy-vy, wifey.
Yeah.
I guess the point that I'm trying to get very clumsily around to is I would have this as a 4.0 light ale way sooner than I would have a 4.1 or 4.2 Session IPA, where you're trying to drink a lower percentage because you've got to, for example, drive home.
Yeah.
And when you go into the pub, what are you looking for in a 4.0 beer? And I would say you're looking for something with a nice round wheatish, maybe almost bready. But you were right about the fruity flavor.
Would you mow the lawn with this?
Oh,
That's telling, because I know you like a lighter a thirst slaking ale rather than a big rich thing after you're mowing the lawn.
Lighter to me. So I have a Toller. I would have a Toller Ice coming in at 6.0 after
Would you?
mowing the lawn. I would, yeah.
Right.
I'd still have a strong one. In fact,
Yes.
I'd probably even have a stout. I've got my birthday collection of the Big Brown by Roof Handist. I think I've had that after mowing the lawn this at some point this week. Is light ale a category? Because if so, this is, I think it's my favorite light ale we've tried.
It's quite. I was going to say lemony. There's just a hint of citrus. Just a hint of citrus. It's also quite a tiny fruit, but I'm trying to pick up on which fruit it is. It's a tiny citrusy little bit, but it's also
like a peel more than a pit.
It's not like you're drinking it and like, oh my god, it's full of
Yeah.
this fruit or that fruit. It's
Super
not. It's just got
grapefruit,
very
apricot,
subtle.
whatnot.
It's also quite florally.
Ooh.
Florally or floral.
Well, I guess
It's extremely smooth. It's really easy to drink, and it's one thing I will say, because it is a light ale. I kind of want a tiny bit more bite, but I can't have it because it's a light ale. Do you know what I mean?
I'm the exact same way. So, and this is why and you give me a hard time for saying this, on the scale of beers that I would drink, beers that I would reach for.
Yeah.
Not so much. But if you say we're having light beers because we're having, okay, gun to your head, you have to have 3 beers and then you need to drive to Ontario. Well, then I know exactly which 3 beers I'm going to have.
What time am I driving to Ontario? Because
it's 8:30 now. So oh no, wait, it's nearly 9. Ooh.
right. Well, I'll have 2.
It's rather late.
I'll have 2 of those barrel aged things, and I'll wait till tomorrow morning before I drive to Ontario.
Have a nap.
Would be my choice.
Naps. This is the gun to the head situation. Naps are verboten.
Okay.
There are no naps allowed.
Oh, that's delicious. That's quite lovely.
We would like. If you have to choose any beer in the world, we'd like something more than that. But for a light beer, and we know people are, if this maneuver towards popular session IPAs is any indication, I think people are looking for a new class of low percentage beers.
I am going to compare this directly with the, even though it's not advertising itself as a blonde ale, to me, I'm going to pitch that up against Nine Locks' Dirty Blonde Light. It's extremely flavoursome. It's a lighter drink. But it's still got the same flavour profile.
The same kind of body as a blonde. You are right. You're quite right about that. It tastes like it should be or could be a blonde, and a rather tasty one. I have not tried the Dirty Blonde Light.
Oh, really? Do it.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
But I don't
Getting
go
warm.
towards the. Honestly, I think. Sorry.
The fire's gone out.
The fire's gone out.
I feel though if I
I'm still feeling some-
take my cardigan off one way, I'm just going to disappear into the background completely. Like it'll just be a head hovering there.
Yeah, it's true.
Like some creepy.
Okay. Now you need to tuck up the shirt, get it all tucked behind you, and then can you
just a head
Can you
just
do the neck maneuvers?
I can't.
Oh,
Oh, you mean that thing?
yeah, bit of that. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's actually warm enough to take the cardi off. I put it on because I was thinking that the mozzies would eat me alive, but it's
They
not
have
too bad.
not. We
No.
did spray a little bit of stuff.
Yep.
Normally, and in fact, when we first started doing the show, 2 years ago.
Oh, you kidding? It's 3.5.
Is it 3.5?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because it's 2024. Anyway, 3.5 years ago, we would normally be outside, and the sun would slowly go down, and it was very pretty, and we enjoyed it. I was late, so we finally decided that yes, we need to do that before we lose out on the sunset entirely, because
There it is.
the days have been getting shorter since June 21st, and that was nearly 2 months ago. As he compares and gets correctly.
I noted. I was watching one of your wonderful co-hosts this afternoon.
Oh yes. Which one?
Well, it
We've
was
had a couple of co-hosts. You've been unavailable.
I back in June
Right.
while I was in doing all kinds of weird things in Blighty.
Yeah.
The wonderful Mike Butler was on here, and doing waxing poetical about the sour. And I couldn't help noticing, by the way, that he was eating nuts on it, which really annoyed me because I thought, well, hang on a minute, that's my thing. But anyway, other people are allowed to eat as they're going along. This evening, though, I don't have nuts with me. I brought these. I didn't know they were going to be as disgusting as they. No, disgusting maybe is too strong a word. What's another word for you like doing this? You say you don't like to use negative words. What's another word for disgusting?
Oh, unique. What was the one that we described today? With a high personality, because we were describing the population walking around in Windsor, and I was saying, oh yeah, it's it was unique, but I also had another word for it. I can't think of it right now.
Well, whatever. These aren't great. These are the yellow, no name cheese flavored crunchy snacks.
So if you're around a very traditional Nova Scotian, they will get mad at you
because they're not
the H word brand. Now, which one is that? It's not Herbans. I'm in the wrong.
Rebecca's favourite is called. She really loves these things. Yeah, it is the
with the blue stripy bag and the.
I've forgotten what they're called.
I've forgotten what they're called too. But
that's
get
her
those
favourite.
ones. Those are the correct.
Oh no, they're amazing. Oh, Hawkins.
That's the one.
Hawkins. Yep, that's her favourite too. No, I did notice that he was trying the second one, the sour, and it occurred to me then. You know when people always ask, I'm gonna leave a couple of fingers of this, by the way.
I've left a small amount
because I hadn't tried the sour, nor had you, until a few years ago, and then I've since then when I've mentioned sours and people haven't tried sours and they say, "What does a sour?" and I'm like, it's indescribable. But what I was thinking of doing was when I saw his face on your podcast. When he took a big sip of this, and you said, "Did you just smell it or taste it?" And he went, "No, I tasted it." And his face, he's doing exactly how I would describe it. Therefore, I want to take a screenshot of that very moment. So in future, when anyone says to me, "What's a sour?" I go, hang on a second. It's this. This is what I'll just drag out my phone and show him the photograph and say, "That's what sours."
What I loved is he made the same face we did our first sour.
Yeah.
But when we talked to Steve Crane with the Brig and Bark sour, and we tried it, and we both said, "Yeah," I think because we were expecting it. I think Mike was expecting a lager, a Keats, a Moosehead, something like that, and that happened, and that's the worst thing that can possibly happen. But when we tried the sour recently, and it wasn't even that strong a sour. So if you take that sour that we had, the Brig and Bark one, take maybe about another hint of an edge off that. And that's the one I fed Mike.
Really? Because the Brig and Bark one, we both were saying. I know. I was watching it, and you're saying, "Actually, Mike, this one's pretty damn good," And his face was contorting,
destroyed.
Like he was drinking one of those really hoppy smashes that would make us go, like he's turning into the Hulk or something.
I was so happy. It was the optimal situation where I found myself kind of enjoying it a little, and it was the worst possible fluid he could have put into his body.
Yeah, he did not look impressed with it.
He was not. I don't think he's telling anyone. I wondered, him being a white wine fan.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
they can be quite.
They taste more like
acidic.
A wine than a beer sometimes.
They can be quite acidic.
But I guess it's just saying I don't know anything about wine.
No, I don't know much about beer either. But.
Says the guide on the wine tour. Next up, we're carrying this with the organic Rise Up, the Pale Ale, which is a 4.5% from Horton Ridge Malt and Grain Company. The spirit of Rise Up, Atlantic, Canada. This I hope they're not telling us to run to block the highway or anything like that. This brew honors the spirit of Horton Ridge by using wheat and rye grown in the fields next to Atlantic Canada's first malt house. Rise Up is a pale ale infused with the spiciness of rye. This feels a little unfair. It's a low alcohol percentage beer, but it's made with partly rye. Now, I had some rye ales one of the nights you weren't here
I wasn't
well.
Here. Yeah.
But did you try them on your own?
Can I reserve? I can't remember whether I tried them or not.
It was a Tanner and Company, so I think you would. The Tanner and Company was exquisite. exquisite.
I do keep all my phone conversations. I never get rid of them. That sounds a bit creepy, but I never get rid of them, especially with people that I like yourself. So therefore, I feel that I did. Was it in recent memory, like in the last 3 or 4 months?
Maybe 4. I mean, I can look it up.
Because I would do that. I would don't bother yourself right now. But I've actually got a feeling I did.
Okay.
And I always, correct me if I'm wrong. I normally take a little photograph of what I'm drinking of the evening and say to you, look, I'm drinking this, and you're. I think I might have done.
But when I had the night with the 2 rye ales.
Yeah, 2 rye A.
And I'm trying to remember which one was which, but I liked them.
Oh.
And I decided, yes, that's it. Wheat and partially rye, and that gets me the flavor that I really like. It turns it into a little bit of a spiciness.
Were they strong?
Not particularly, I don't think. They might have been like a 5.
I'm a bit scared, Ross. If you look at this can, it's... well, you know the other one exploded.
Yep,
I
I'm
will.
just going to tap it.
I'm going to
'cause I don't think
definitely
you
tap it.
tapped the other one.
If you look, it's actually bulging, this one. I don't know what's going on here because I'm not driving along like a maniac coming along. I know I'm gone through Colebrook and the Colebrook Road is suspect. But it does. Feel it. Oh my goodness. It feels like it's just had a really big meal.
Yeah, that's got some pressure
It's
to
got
it.
some pressure to it. This is going
So
to be
what
crazy.
you want to do is just
keep doing it.
open it fully. Not,
Right, okay.
Because opening it a little bit,
Well, yeah, you're right.
opening it a little bit causes it to only just hiss out like a spray.
Okay, the
nozzle.
downside is, of course, I've just took a big swig off of that just to make room in the glass. And I pretend I didn't do that.
It smells like it's got a little bit of citrus in that as well, like a bit of. And I'm sticking to the orange rind. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's what rye.
What I'm getting is, funnily enough, rye. I'm getting a grassy rye.
I don't really know what rye tastes like personally. I've had rye bread, but
No, that's way less fruity to me to taste.
Look at the cloudiness.
I know. Sea monkeys.
Sorting itself out down there.
That is way more bready, way more grassy.
And-
it's not floral. It doesn't have the fruitiness either of the other one to me.
It does feel a little unfair to compare it because this is a rye light ale as opposed to just a regular pale ale. So where you've got a different ingredient set. So I think these might be apples and oranges. We did have some other weaker ales, and I was actually going to bring up 2 other options, but I didn't. I'm not gonna.
In your defence, you kind of had to cobble this together because I like you said at the top of the show here, I kind of I pointed out that I'd love to do those beers that you'd got planned for me, and then I thought, oh my god, I don't just want to have a thimble full of those strong beers, and while I'm over here, I want to have I'd like to have.
I don't know. I like a small amount of strong ale sometimes because even the ones that we've enjoyed, and we said this one's really great, and then you look and you've got another half a glass of this rich 9% bourbon cask thing, and you think, oh, yet another Russian Imperial.
Yeah,
Stout.
but then I want to drive home and then have it, and then just give my whole evening towards it.
Grassy, yes,
It is.
grassy.
Yep.
Oh my, how
Yep.
interesting.
Absolutely.
Is there more in your can?
There is. I've got more in there.
These are.
I didn't lose any of that.
And here's the other downside. Here is we're into the 355 milliliter cans, both.
Yes.
So I am.
Which
Having
did
some
you
smooth
just
drive.
happened? Was that pure coincidence that you poured that into the glass that says on the side grain to glass? Because that's definitely grainy, grassy rye drink. That's
It was
pure
slightly on
coincidence.
purpose because this is my Horton Ridge
There we go.
glass.
Right.
So you pour the Horton Ridge beer into the Horton Ridge glass.
And as I said before we came on, if you put the glass to the grain and then you give the glass to Granger. Anyway, we've done that now, so that's done.
Revisiting that. joke.
That's right. It's just clever. It's not funny. It's just very, very clever.
There's more than just the
It's
the
grassy.
the grassiness though in the smell. That's very nice. I have been so impressed with just about everything out of Horton Ridge. You're just going straight for it.
Oh, it's I already did when I popped
it's
the
true.
can, you know.
Right.
Yeah, this is really nice. Do you get that?
Oh.
Do you get that slight
Oh.
whiskiness? It's really,
Yeah.
it's
Is
intan.
that
It's,
just the rye? Is it just the grain?
you tell me.
Well,
I don't
it
know,
can't be
but
whiskey. It's 4 point.
it's telling.
thing.
It's giving you that in your head when you're reading it, and therefore I'm going, yeah, I totally get that. So I'm connecting the two. I don't have the skills. What's it called again? That the beer people are called.
Prud'homme is the Canadian
Prud'homme,
fancy
is it?
version of
Right.
it, but there's also the Cicerone, which I think is
Cicerone.
another. It all depends on what country you're
The
in. I
beer
think.
sommelier, basically. I don't have that.
Smelly beer.
But I can definitely pick up when it suggests something. I go for it. And you said the same thing, and then you find it. There is that. They're calling it Rise Up. Well, not rise as in RISE, but I'm guessing
No,
it's a play on words
It is
for that very
Yeah,
reason.
so our
They're using our own-
rise up with their rye. It is reminding me of the other rye ales I have. So this feels like we're having a rye or a light pale ale and a light rye ale, and I like them both.
So
And
do
I think of their two categories, which I
Yeah.
will discern, of a rye ale, but it's a little lighter. That's really good. That's-
It's more flavoursome. It tastes.
Oh,
It tastes stronger for a start. It's not really, is it? It's only what? Is this 4.5, Ross?
4.5.
It's not crazy.
It is 4.5.
It's got so much body and so much flavour to it. You know, if you said, "Excuse me, Mr. Coors Light drinker," or "Mr.
That'll
Budweiser,"
blow their head off.
well, they wouldn't because that's what I was about to say. It has roughly the same strength. The other one has exactly the same strength. There's only 0.5 of percentage more. But you'd say, can you not taste the different? It's full of
This is
flavour.
what fascinates me. I need to find a die-hard Coors Light versus Bud Light, which is the better beer person, that is definitively on one side of the fence, and say, this is a Toller Gold. This is, and I would bring this. You know, this is a light ale. It's only a 4.5, and just try a couple of these ones, and maybe the Dirty Blonde. I say, what do you think of these? And I feel like they might say, it's too rich for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get that past my teeth.
Yep.
Some kind of reason that is, it needs to taste more like slightly alcoholized tap water.
Right. Well, this tastes more to me like cereal. It's a bit more cereal, a bit porridgey.
It is bready.
Right, a bit oaty, a bit porridgey. You said this is a light ale, and it's got maybe just. I don't. This is about what I was about to ask you. Are you able to surf up on your Google machine there? What is the maximum percentage that a light ale is allowed to reach? Because if this is, it doesn't say it's a light ale, does it, Russ? Or does it? It says rise up. It's
light ale.
I'm feeling that 4 might be the cutoff point for it because most of them are
2.6 and 4.
4. Okay, so
So
it goes to 4. So
lower
this
than
isn't
4.
a light ale.
No,
it's
it's
classed as an ale.
Lighter than 5.
Lighter than 5. Lighter than Ross's light ale because you don't like anything usually that's less than 5. You're like, that's.
No.
I'll give that to my son. I've just popped that in his milk bottle and say, crack on and go to sleep.
He'd probably like that. Even with the tiny
would.
amount of, are you getting a little bit of spice in it as well?
Let me try again.
Like a spicy bread, kind of, sort of, a little.
I'm not sure about bread, but certainly oaty, a tiny bit malty.
At the front of there, just behind your front teeth, I'm getting a bit of cloves. Just a teeny tiny spice.
Okay,
And I'm wondering
you're getting
if
a bit of
if
that,
it's
eh?
what the rye might be reacting to something or what number of things.
Maybe that bottle of whiskey you had on the drive on the way home.
Potentially
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But I think that the unnamed light one from Sea Level it's a 9 out of 10 light beer.
9 out of 10.
For a light beer.
Oh, okay.
Such a good light
Yeah,
beer.
it really is fabulous.
And for a rye ale, this is nearing that. You know, it's a light. They tell you that it's lighter, but they're not saying it's going to be a light rye ale. So I want my ryes to be a little bit more flavorsome, but
that's fair
it's
comment.
very good. Can you imagine this? It's a little sneak of a thing. So
Well, it remains to me, because it's not strong like you suggested, it's full of flavour, it remains a summery ale to me. And yet, I don't know, man. I reckon 2 or 3 of those and you'll begin to feel them when you're mowing the lawn. This is a beautiful, smooth, well-balanced, summery, full of flavour. And there's maltiness in there as well, for sure. I'm not getting the spice that you are, but that's fine. Maybe it's just me.
there's some kind of little bite. I don't know if maybe it's a little bit of bitter at the very tail end, but it's at the front of my mouth as
Okay.
opposed to at the back of my mouth. So
Right.
it's front bitter.
I don't know what it is. You know, when you talk about, joking aside there, those whiskies, that the rye whiskey, is that the Canadian one, the Canadian rye? Is that why that's called a rye? And whereas the proper Scottish whiskies and the Irish whiskies, I know they've got the E difference in the key, but they're not allowed to call a Canadian a Scotch, and they're not allowed to call an American a Scotch or a rye. They're supposed to call them bourbons, are they not? They've got their own distinct naming convention for whiskies, or whiskies as in for the broader term. What is it that the rye that is added to Canadian rye whiskies? Are you reading here?
I feel like we've looked this up before.
Oh, really?
American rye whiskey is similar to bourbon, but must be distilled from 51% rye grain. Canadian whiskey is rye whiskey for historical reasons, although it may or may not actually include any rye grain.
No. Okay.
What?
Interesting.
This just raises more
Well,
questions.
this does,
more
but it
questions than
has
answers.
a slight whiskiness to it, which is why I was asking the question in the first place.
Canadian whiskey is often referred to as rye whiskey because historically much of the content was from rye, but there's no requirement for rye. So the labels Canadian whiskey, Canadian whiskey, and rye whiskey are all legally permitted regardless of the actual composition.
Madness.
Possess the aroma, taste, and character generally attributed to Canadian whiskey.
But you did read
That's
that
the-
online, and we have learned over the years
Oh, yeah,
that
don't-
don't believe anything.
No,
that
don't
you-
trust anything you see on the
Nothing,
internet.
nothing at all. It's all a big lie,
Not a
rye lie.
You know, having never met Justin Trudeau, I couldn't even be assured that he is an actual alive person and not just sort of a made-up puppet. And the prime minister of the country. I mean, have I been from either side of the country? I have been to Ottawa. I've seen a parliament building, so I can tell you that exists. But
Maybe it's the
insofar as who's in
conspiracy.
charge,
The conspiracy theorists that call him Justin Trudeau. So maybe he doesn't exist, and it's all a big. It's all smoke and mirrors.
it's just virtual reality. It's special effects,
Yeah.
and you could create a person online, just an interactive avatar, put it in the news a little bit, and say, that's
That's
who
the guy.
that's who got voted in.
That's your man.
Because aside from one small little part of the country, who he is technically the member of parliament representing that one little locale, no one else voted for him directly. We voted for a nice young man around here named Cody Blois.
You did.
I did.
I mean, you, as in the general consensus.
Yeah, he won. And I think he won decently. His last... Has he been re-elected? I don't remember now. I think he might have been. I don't know much about the whole political side of things,
Politics.
but he's a rather nice young man, and I said, yeah, good. He's representing us well. And sadly, that's how I politic.
That's how Trump got in, because he's a lovely young man.
Yeah. And
the end of
he
the-
went to the location,
Yeah.
the United States,
Yeah.
and he knocked on all the doors, and he
He
said,
did.
"Hello, I'd like to, put a fresh coat of paint on this school over here." Mm-hmm. And everyone said, "I
got
like
elected
his
because
attitude.
of it.
That's a real go-get-him attitude, and he's
That's
really going to
right.
make some changes around here." And that's why, the totally made-up avatar of Donald Trump is president.
You heard it here first. That's not even. It's not even internet.
It has something to do with that.
I remember watching only last week. You were interviewing that lovely man from New Brunswick,
Norbert.
Norbert. And I laughed heartily, Ross. I laughed heartily after you were 1.5 pints into some pretty strong beers.
Were we into the strong beers? Oh yeah, we did.
I think you
No,
did.
the triple IPA was the third one, but it was.
Well, no. I think.
Oh.
Melting Mountains.
Melting Mountains.
Isn't that extraordinary? That is an extraordinary triple.
Very good.
When I was in New Brunswick myself, only back in whenever. Oh, I'll tell you what. I was there for the Eclipse.
Oh,
And
right.
yes. And
who-
I was in
who
there the
wants to
tide.
experience an eclipse without a triple IPA. I think
Oh,
that's-
it was amazing. I went to that brewery and I picked that up and I thought this is an amazing beer. Anyway, when he said the beer show, and you immediately went, hot beer? Is that right? There's a hot beer show? You call this the hot beer show? And he said, no, a beer show.
beer show.
And
all I kept hearing was
yep,
hot beer.
I know you did, and I could see the look on your face was a picture. It was almost as good as Mike's what I saw there earlier on.
Sour face.
Yes, because you were kind of like he's saying hot beer all the
it's-
time. I can't understand.
So Mike's sour face.
What's going on with your cat?
The cat's over here. That's
What's that noise then?
warthogs.
You have warthogs in your yard?
Well, we do now apparently.
Did you hear
If
that?
that noise is anything to be
Is that a
believed.
Wolverine? You have Wolverine?
What else makes a noise like that? Pheasants don't make that noise. It's certainly a rattly. It's a
quite-
U2 album. It's a rattle and hum deep in the bowels of a
Yeah.
warthog esophagus.
That's a U2 album?
Deep in the bowels of the warthog esophagus. It
Is that the-
certainly is.
Was that the follow-up?
Yeah, that was the follow-up. It was rattle
Okay.
and hum first, and then deep in the bowels
B-sides.
of the
B-sides
warthog
collection.
esophagus was.
Okay.
It was the live.
I think it's gone away. That was a bit worrying. It's so dark back here. That could have been anything. I don't know.
That was certainly a noise. Angry raccoon? No. It's
Oh, it could be a
Far
raccoon.
too guttural, I think, for that.
Yeah.
That was an odd one. What were we discussing?
Rattle and hum.
Norbert and Mike's sour face, sour
Yes.
drinking face,
Yes.
is very similar to my. Yes, I am confident. I once learned French. However, I've forgotten all of it. Face. That was me being very. No. This is French, and I need to express that I definitely understand French, despite the fact that I do not understand.
You confirmed it when he said my heart sank, and you went, your heart 5? I picked up on that as well. It was
did.
something along those lines.
And
It
then
was-
when he started going on about his pet seal, I thought that
Oh,
we
yeah.
should just change the topic completely.
it was French 101. Ross learns French after a triple IPA and a couple of beers.
And then we wanted to talk about all the different things that you find at the front of a church, and
It was great.
that
I
went even
loved it.
well.
I'm trying to catch
The
up on
holy
all.
cross and the chalice of the
Yeah.
tabernacle
I'm
was all right
I'm
there.
trying to catch up on all the episodes that I haven't seen,
Oh my!
and there are a
Were
few.
there that many? 'Cause I
Yeah,
remember
there are
being
a
3 or
few.
4 Oh, I forgot about the Mike Butler one, but since then there definitely have been
There's been a few.
3.
I'm getting through them. Yeah, I might subscribe. The way things are
That'll
going.
make 2.
I know.
That's exciting.
The first one? I've still got some
Right, you're right.
some crispy things left. These cheesy things left.
They're incomparable. I think we've decided that.
The beers?
They're not comparable.
100%.
But they're both really good. I will go back to this first one, and after the rise up, it'll probably taste a little bit light.
It's lovely, isn't it? It's so fruity. It's so clean, crisp, and it's so
that
delicious.
Still is quite nice.
Mm.
It's light.
It's light.
It's light in flavor a little bit. I'd love to get a little bit more of that flavor, but well done.
I maintain that is a slight. It's a blonde ale. Slightly wheaty. It's got a like a Weissbier, a tiny little bit of. I'm not going into banana territory, but it has a slight Weissbier taste to it. Blondie, very much like the Nine Locks blonde, dirty blonde, but the lighter version of it. It is quite delicious. I love it to bits. 8.5%. 8.5%. That's out of 100. And 8.5.
It's a
out
light.
Of 10.
It's a light beer coming in at 8.
Yeah, it's
8.5%. Now you're
delicious.
talking like me.
Yeah.
It would be neat. It would be curious to compare that with the Dirty Blonde or the Dirty Blonde Light.
Yep. I think you should do. You said you haven't tried the light.
I'm pretty sure I have not.
Right.
but
Well,
I could be wrong.
you really should.
Well,
I mean,
it's
the
good.
Dirty Blonde is amazing beer.
And then the rise up, very flavorful, very delicious. Not the best rye ale I've had, but I think it's because it's that lower
It's a
percentage.
lighter-
It's not going to have quite the full body thing, but it doesn't
it is full bodied to me when you.
say that's what it's going to do.
Right. It doesn't have a thick, malty profile,
Oh.
but it's certainly more. It's certainly richer and fuller bodied, more fuller bodied than the Sea Level, which you can't really, like you said, can't even compare it with because they're not really the same. It is a
The
little
reason
apples and oranges.
I keep smelling my own arm is because I feel like the taste of it, there's a bit of an insect repellent taste.
Because you've just
and-
sprayed yourself with insect repellent.
I did, but so I can't tell if I'm getting a whiff
Yeah.
of that or I'm pretty sure this didn't taste like insect repellent at the beginning. So maybe something hit the glass or my hand. or...
But some of those insect repellents, though, are quite palatable.
Citronella.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you know what? What my plan was for tonight? I've got somewhere in the house are these little candles that take oil, like an oil candle wick thing,
Yeah.
and we've got this citronella oil,
Oh, yeah.
and they just burn and go off, and
They do.
they're quite.
That
lovely.
That might have influenced your
This is
thoughts
look at
regarding the beer. Oh,
it's just this black
darkness behind
void.
it.
It's
Yeah, I
so
think I'm glad you
curious.
didn't do that because if you did get that lemony thing going on, there was already a hint of lemoniness to the first one, zestiness. So it might have gone. You might have gone. Oh my god, it just tastes like a lemon.
Well, I mean, are we smelling this bonfire from next door?
No, it's gone.
And the warthog battles going on over there. That was such an interesting snarl.
What a
That
lovely
was-
spot you've got here. I love this tree.
It's rather cute. I do
Yes.
like it.
Is it maple?
Yes.
It's
in
maple.
fact,
It's very Canadian.
it's regular or whatever. I don't know, red maple or something. But this one is a little bit different. This one is a silver maple.
It's huge.
East for all of
Shame you can't see it from there, because maybe if I look back at last year, it'll still be there, won't it? A couple of years ago,
Well,
I think so.
oh, yes.
This hasn't grown up in the last.
I mean,
2 years since I was
I've
here.
let it grow. I've let it go its own way for about 20 minutes or so now. So maybe there is some kind
Getting
of
pretty big.
obvious discernation, if that's a word.
I'm going to take my cheeses and get out of here. Good night.
I don't have cheesies anymore. We were a bit late to start. It was a little quick one because we only had the 355s. But I want to thank Ian for joining me here on the deck. It's been a while since we've all been together in the one same place together. But we're back here every Tuesday, usually around 8ish. This time we're late. So we're back here next week, 8 p.m. Check out the YouTube page, youtube.com/@drinknsdry. We're at the Drink Nova Scotia Dry or Drink NS Dry and all of the podcasty witches and whatnots. And then if you want to go to the source, it's drinkns.unsupervised.beer. I remembered most of that, so thank you for joining.